It's important to design for the senses because we are primal creatures and we read our environment through the senses. They are what connects us to the world, no matter whether we feel that intelligence is a more valuable thing. But I believe that our senses are another intelligence. So it's important that the spaces that we live in speak to that and we're not just dashing through rather soulless spaces. Design not only shapes the spaces that we're using every day, but also our experience in those spaces. So it's not just a visual thing, it's a thought process. And it's the insights that allow it to lift to another level. It can change our connections with each other, it can change our behaviours, it can nudge us to better behaviours. So in terms of health and wellness, it can create habits and rituals that can improve our lives. We spend so much of our time inside buildings, which is a very good reason why interior design is so important. But so often it's seen as just an aesthetic, which is a pity because I think understanding the lives that will be lived inside the buildings is so important. If you look at the environments that people bathed in historically, and if you look at even bathing culturally in the rest of the world, we enjoy the sauna, we enjoy the onsen, we enjoy the hot spring, because they slow you down, they ground you, they give you a physical connection to nature and to the moment. They give pleasure through the senses. They are places that we can be naked in and vulnerable and in some way are about a ritual of cleansing. So I think it's an area where if we can bring that physicality back, it would give us a real connection to our physical selves, in our primal selves. The way we read objects is extremely complex and we understand them better than we realise. I think, you read them through your senses, you understand whether they're well made, you also understand their semiotics. What are they trying to say to you in terms of status and so on? So I think it's so important to just slow down and figure out what those meanings and messages are that will make that thing matter. One of the things that fascinates us actually are those actions that we do every day, because in the end, the spaces that we use are really just backdrops to our lives. They're not the foreground. And I think when you can make those small things considered, it makes a huge difference to daily life. And that's at all points of the spectrum, whether it's a public space or a private space. Those small moments, those very normal, everyday moments can make life special. The world we make is always an expression of our values. And if you want to make matter matter, then those values have to be embedded from the very beginning. To be conscious of the outcome, not just aesthetically, but also to champion those unmeasurables of beauty, the senses, trust, that we read in our environment all the time, but which, unless someone is prioritising those, will fall by the wayside. It's thinking about not just how it impacts us as individuals, but also how it affects the makers, how it affects the environment, how it can change the way we live and embed these values. Design is who we are, design is what we stand for, and design is what we leave behind. I mean, ultimately, it's a tool to enhance our humanity.